remission. My fatty liver is gone. I just took a scan and there's no evidence of ever having stage 2 fatty liver. My blood pressure is 112/70.
You are dealing with all PCOS. And all sorts of other issues, and those are what's happened with that.
Oh my gosh, my cysts and my ovaries are no longer inflamed. I've gone for my ultrasounds. My periods are regular, and my acne's gone. Look at this. Look how puffy my whole body was. I was so inflamed. Yeah, and I feel amazing. I have lost 40 pounds, and I'm 50 years old.
So that's one story. That was one of my favorite. That's for PCOS. This is amazing. To Desiree, you're not alone. There's actually a great resource called Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz for any women that are dealing with hormonal issues. Granola bars, honestly, are really, really going to spike your blood sugar. I'm not a big fan of those. Again, I'm not, that's just my take on it. They really spike your blood sugar, and I wouldn't lean that way. I'd much rather have something that's higher in protein and fat and fiber. So polycystic ovarian syndrome, so PCOS, Debbie, I just showed that video. This is phenomenal for that. So Debbie, I would absolutely take a look at this. And for anybody interested, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, there are some medical professionals who are going to be speaking about the efficacy of this system. And I would love to invite you. Give me a follow, shoot me a message and say, hey, you mentioned there's a Zoom call. It's totally free. There's nothing sold on this. It's just information about this actual system. But I would love to invite you to that, so you can join and be a part of that. So you think of starting a 20-day water fast only starting today? Thoughts? Crazy broccoli, man. If you've never fasted before, 20 days is ambitious. If you have fasted before, and you're comfortable, go for it. We're going to be doing an extended fast here in January, and I don't know that we'll go 20 days, but we'll go a while, and we'll see how that goes. But always go ahead and see. I don't know. Let me check Romania real quick. You keep asking about that. I just want to double check it here. I'm not sure. I've never had anybody that I'm aware of going to Romania, but let me just take a look. And I will find out. And again, Danielle, if you can go onto my page and you can click the link up there and it'll show you. Is oats, chia seeds, almonds, berries good for breakfast? Yeah, oats not the worst, not the best, but chia seeds, yes. Almonds, yes. Berries, yes. And in fact, if you can, skip the breakfast and have those later on. Almond milk, yeah. I mean, it's gonna, yeah. It's not the worst. It's not bad. Healthy bartender, reverse non-alcoholic fatty liver, and type 2 diabetes, blood pressure's down, sleep apnea, depression, erectile dysfunction gone, 88 pounds, off 8 meds, all without a thyroid. Okay, so this is incredible. Has been on the system, has had crazy good results. Wow, that's awesome, Jimmy. Phenomenal. Why do I feel sleepy after a heavy meal? It's because when you eat a lot of food after a heavy meal, your blood sugar is going to go up, and that's going to make your insulin levels go up. Now, when you have elevated blood sugar and high insulin, your insulin is desperately trying to get that blood sugar out of your bloodstream. So it's distributing it to the cells, and when it gets, your blood sugar is down, and if your cells are resisting some of that, and you're having to store that blood sugar around in your fat, in your maybe your liver, around your belly, whatever like that, you now have elevated insulin and low blood sugar. And this right here with high insulin, low blood sugar, this is what creates this scenario here where you're exhausted. This is why a couple years ago I was tired all the time, and I would snack, and then whenever I was done snacking, I was exhausted still, like nothing happened. So it was, hang on a second here. All right, I just got a appeal on my post here for some reason. I'm not sure why. Out Angela, I'm sorry, I saw a couple of comments come through real quick here. When I started this off, I did not fast for very long. I just went 12 hours. I just went from 7 in the evening to 7 in the morning. And over time, I extended it. But really, the main thing, if you can cut out snacking and if you can change your food to being higher in fiber, fat, and protein, you're going to see some significant improvement in that. Okay, the name of the book is called, let's see, which one did I recommend? There's Fast Like a Girl. I'm going to put CU. It's a very lean, skinny, tall box. You're training 5 times a week. What food should I prioritize? Prioritize proteins. If you're wanting to put weight on, prioritize proteins, and you don't necessarily need to fast if you're trying to put on the weight. Just make sure you have plenty of fats and proteins. The main thing is if you're trying to put on weight, you can always put on like body fat, right? You can always eat a bunch of carbs and sugar and put on fat, but ideally you're probably going to want to put on muscle. And so in that sense, I would lean toward fats and proteins. Okay, I'm looking at Romania right now here. I do not see that we are available there, but I can shoot me a message and I'll see if I can help you out. But I'm not aware that we ship to Romania at all. Okay, guys, great stuff. Hello. Any recommendations for sugar alternatives? So, honestly, for sugar alternatives, it's funny. Like a natural plant-based sugar like stevia is going to be fine. That's actually what they use in the tea that I use is stevia. Also, it's funny. All these studies you see about things like sucralose and these other sugars, all the studies that show these horrible, horrible negative side effects. If you dig a little bit and see who funded those studies, they were funded by the sugar industry. The sugar industry does not want you to buy an alternative to sugar, even though sugar itself is going to spike your blood sugar and your glucose levels way up. Okay, so there are some natural sugars, and stevia is a great option in my opinion. But again, it's everybody on their own. Monk fruit's another great one as well. But if you're looking to say, well, I want natural sugar, that's, is honey okay or is syrup okay? Honey and syrups are going to be like a maple syrup. It's going to have the exact same impact on your glucose. It's not any different. Just because it's honey, it's not going to change it. How to reverse insulin resistance? Please explain it in the easiest way. Okay, so Resh, I'm gonna wrap up here in just a second. If you're interested in getting the coaching and the support, I highly recommend going to the protocol, clicking on my link, and when you order the system, it's a 30-day supply. Grab it as a subscription. Every month it'll ship out to you, and then you'll get all of my coaching, my support. We have a Facebook group with over 1,000 people in it that are all using this protocol. We have a ton of content, and then tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, US, there is a call with medical professionals speaking about the system and the science behind it. I'm gonna finish off here today. We're gonna talk about insulin resistance and how to reverse it, okay? So Nico and for Resh, we'll go through here for you guys. So insulin resistance at its simplest level, okay? When you eat food, your body, like let's just say that you have, I don't know, let's just say you have a sandwich, okay? And it doesn't matter, right? You eat a sandwich, and now your body is going to take that food and it's going to convert that food into glucose. Yeah, Sonia, absolutely. Please take a look at it and reach out to me about that call tonight. Okay, I'll get you on there. Your body will turn that food into glucose. Now, when glucose goes up, Jack, thank you, appreciate it. When glucose goes up, your insulin, your pancreas pumps up insulin. Insulin is a hormone that basically its job is to distribute your blood sugar, get that sugar out of your blood and take it out and distribute it to your cells so that your cells get the energy from the glucose and they get the nutrients from that food that you eat. That's insulin's job, is to go and distribute that. When you do this, your insulin level is up, it's managing this glucose, it's basically pumping this glucose all through your body to your cells. Your blood sugar will start to normalize and start to come down. Okay, now insulin will come down also, but insulin is a hormone, all right? And with any hormone, insulin does not just plummet, it takes some time to come down. So as insulin is coming down, when we're in this state right here, if you're already insulin resistant, if you're in this state right here, then you're kind of at this point where you feel like you're hungry. You feel like or maybe you feel exhausted. Like, oh my gosh, I've eaten, my blood sugar is low, insulin level is high. This is what they call in the medical world hangry, okay? Like I want to sleep, I'm hungry, I'm just tired, right? And this is where most of us, where I was at in the afternoons. I would need to have a coffee or a Coca-Cola or something to kind of get me through midday. All right, if I'm speaking to you, this should make sense here. As insulin starts to come down, if you need that Coca-Cola or the Starbucks, or you need a donut or a Cliff Bar or something to kind of get you through, then boom, you eat that. Now what happens? Your blood sugar goes back up. Well, now your insulin level, your pancreas has to pump that insulin, pump it back up and pump more insulin to manage this new blood sugar. And get that blood sugar down, and then your insulin starts to come down, and now it's time for dinner, so you eat again. Now you got to like pump more insulin, and so you're living like this with this insulin level elevated constantly. What should happen is that you eat food, and then your insulin level comes down and it rests, and then you eat again, insulin comes up a bit, and then it comes down, and it rests, and then you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, and then eventually you eat and it comes up and then it comes down. That's what should happen. But so many of us, over 100 million Americans, are either pre-diabetic or insulin resistant, and most people who are do not know that they are. We are living with constantly elevated insulin. And this basically means that now with insulin always elevated and always trying to get this stuff to your cells, get the glucose over to your cells begin to resist this insulin. It's like I gave the analogy before. If you go to a loud concert, all right, and you are exposed to really loud music for 2 or 3 hours, and then you leave the concert and you go out to the parking lot, and it's quiet, and you're letting your ears kind of like do that weird ringing thing. That's kind of that same feeling. Like you have to let your ears have some time. You're not going to get your hearing back perfectly the second you walk out the door. It will take some time, right? You've gotten your brain into this mode of like, I'm ready to hear loud things, but you've got to get back into the real world, and you don't want to spend the night, shouting at your partner because you can't hear each other, right? So you gave yourself some time, and eventually over time, your ears will get back to normal and you'll be able to hear at a normal volume. But at first, you're basically sound resistant, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's the same thing, insulin resistant. So now you've got this constant insulin trying desperately to get this blood sugar into the cells. The cells are resisting. So the cells are basically not unlocking their door. And so now you've got blood sugar elevated, your insulin's elevated, trying to get this blood sugar out, but your cells are rejecting it. So you can't keep the blood sugar level super high. So then your insulin starts to shove this sugar, this glucose, around your belly, your liver, your organs. It's got to get rid of it. And this is why people get what's called fatty liver, and they start going through all this stuff, right? After having insulin resistance for a long period of time, and your blood sugar is starting to get more and more elevated and constantly going up, you start to feel pretty lousy. You start to go to your doctor and like, doc, I don't feel good. Your doctor can do a blood test and check and say, oh my gosh, your A1C, you are now pre-diabetic. We are going to put you on some metformin. Or they'll say, you know what, we're going to put you on an injection of insulin. So your doctor, you're already swimming in insulin and your blood sugar's up. Your doctor's like, well, he controls his blood sugar as insulin. So they put you on an insulin. So now they've elevated your insulin. They're forcing this insulin, like they're forcing open your cell, like to get this sugar out. If we control our insulin level to begin with, then we wouldn't have this issue. So what we do, our entire protocol that we follow, is to keep insulin levels low. And so with lower insulin, you're able to do a lot of things. First of all, you're able to heal yourself. Your cells can go through a stage called autophagy, which is where the cells literally go and repair themselves. The other thing that can happen is when your insulin levels are low, you actually switch your fuel sources from new calories for fuel to burning body fat for fuel. And when insulin is elevated, you cannot burn body fat. It is impossible. You cannot do it. You must let insulin come down low, and then you can start burning body fat. So once insulin is down low, and we do this through intermittent fasting, we do this through taking a break from food and low body fat, and we continue to work and do our thing. Now our body is having to find that glucose from somewhere else because it's not coming in from new food. So we're eating our love handles basically for breakfast. So the fat that's stored around your love handles, your liver, your kidneys, your belly, right? That's where we're taking the fat from, and that's where the stored glucose. That's where we start to correct things like that hard visceral belly fat, where we start to fix things like fatty liver. And this process of intermittent fasting and then breaking the fast with high fiber, fat, and protein helps us to get into a better state with more metabolic flexibility. We're more insulin sensitive. And to do this, you can do it naturally. You can fast on your own. Fasting is the freest, easiest thing in the world, right? Just real quick, and then I've got to run here. This is a yerba mate extract. It's called unamate. It's an extract of yerba mate. It does not break your fast. So all this low insulin, it keeps the insulin low. It helps you to accelerate the fat burning. It helps you to feel amazing. Your focus is good. Your energy is strong. You do not crave food. So you have this natural, I don't need to eat all the time feeling.